Greetings, dear brothers and sisters, dear sons and daughters in the light. I am Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, and how wonderful it is you are here. How wonderful it is you are present with us as divine masters, learning the preciousness of the love and the light, learning how to return to the greater ways and the greater place, to the love and the light. We as divine masters are so happy you are joining us in these spaces. For each time you come here, you learn how to hold more love within yourself. You learn the greater ways of love. You learn how to become more of love by learning to flow in the love and the light. You're learning to understand how important the days of the Great Awakening are, to allow you to return to the greater spaces of love. Welcome to all who desire the greater ways and the greater learnings. Happy is the one who is learning these higher truths, for they understand that the great Father is always speaking to them, giving them peace and love within the heart. For I, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, promised the people that I would come and return to the people to speak the glorious truth of the universe, so that they too may have that peace within the heart and desire the higher ways of the love. You are living in a time of the greatest awakening, the greatest truths being spoken. And yet how many people are ready for the greater truths to come within them? Many will say, "Oh Lord Emmanuel, you are so wise and you are so beautiful, but we are not ready to accept you into our heart yet. We know you are there, and we're happy you are there at a distance. We don't choose to have you within our heart. We don't choose to have you close to us, and we have difficulty hearing your words being spoken." How many of you have difficulty hearing the words from the great divine being spoken to you? Yet, when you listen to the scriptures in your Bible and you say, "Oh, Jesus was here with the people 2,000 years ago, and he spoke of this, and he spoke of that, and he spoke of that," you celebrated. You say, "Jesus lives within my heart." But I, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, state, it was my being that spoke to the people 2,000 years ago. Yet when will the people begin to recognize the great Father, the same Father that Jesus spoke of all those years ago? I stated so many times that the people would deny my return. The people would cry within their hearts, "No, Lord Emmanuel, I do not choose to see you. For when I choose to see you, I know I need to do something. So I'd rather stay blind. I'd rather stay deaf. I'd rather stay in my own thoughts and in my imagination, because I cannot face truth, because truth I am not ready for. This was also foretold by Jesus 2,000 years ago. Look, when the great Father will return, the people will not decide to see, for they will say, the light is too blinding for me. It hurts my eyes too much. They will decide to say, I am deaf. I do not hear. I choose not to hear the words of the Father. For as soon as they begin to acknowledge truth, and as soon as they begin to see and hear, they then understand that it is time to go into that narrow path of finding the greatest self within them. And it is so easy for people to ignore that. For your outer reality is so easy for you to follow. Everything is always outside of you that you choose to see. Yet Jesus, when he spoke to the people, he stated, the Father is not outside of you. He is inside of you, for you are part of all that is divine. He lives within you, and the more that you begin to acknowledge the great Father, the more that you will feel the Father, and to see the Father, and hear the Father. But as long as you stay within the suffering of who you are and choose to ignore the Father within you, how can the Father even begin to become recognized within you? For he can only become recognized when you choose to open the door to who he really is and to who you really are. The people will keep searching. They will keep searching for the great Father. They will keep saying, where is he? He promised he would return. Yet, Jesus stated these very words, the Father never left you, but it was you who needed to find the great Father. And once you find the great Father, you will have all you have been searching for. For this is your true journey, your true treasure. It's never found outside of yourself, but inside is where the great treasure lives. And once you've found it within you, you will then join the greater realms. For it is then that the great Father will say to you in the greater realms, dear son, dear daughter, you have become the talent. You have not only searched for it and found it, but you have become it. Come and join me in my greater mansion. A mansion that I have built especially for you. For now there is no need to return to the earth plane, for now you have awoken to who you are. Come and join the greater mansion of peace and love. The people there 2,000 years ago, when they heard these words, they were confused. Which mansion is this? Jesus, we want to live in a mansion. Look at our huts, our houses. They are not mansions. They are poorly built. And we are not rich. You talk about treasures. You talk about mansions. We want that. Show us. And Jesus stated, you have not heard the teachings of the Father. For if you did hear them, you would not ask the the very questions you have. For again, it is not what you are looking for outside of yourself. It is not the physical treasures or the physical mansions of the great Father that you have been listening to here. It is the very treasure and the mansion within you. And when you find the very treasure and the very mansion within you, you will not need to return to the treasures of the earth and the mansions of the earth, because they will mean nothing. For the treasures of the heavens and the mansions of the heavens, they will never go away and rust, be consumed. They will last forever. Go within yourself and find the greater treasure and find the chambers of love. And then you too, you will join the Father and you will say, look, I have joined in my Father and my brothers and sisters in paradise. And I will not need to return to the other state of living. For now I understand. This is where I belong. And then Jesus walked away. And the people had more questions. And Jesus said, I have spoken to you about this matter for 5 hours now. For 5 hours you've sat before me, listening to the words of the great Father, the great Emmanuel. For it is He who speaks to you. It is not me who speaks to you. It is the great Emmanuel. And so the people saw Him walk away. And the people back then knew that He always walked with the great Emmanuel. Was the great Emmanuel Jesus? No. The great Emmanuel was the great Father that Jesus always referred to. Why did He say the great Father? Because a father is endearing. A father cares. A father brings everything to the children that they need. All things are always provided for when the children of the light ask the great Father. As long as they acknowledge the great Father, as long as they see that the great light and the great Father is with them, all they need to do is ask the great Father. Great Father, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, take care of me, take care of my children, look after my daily needs. Why should I not gift that to you? When any good father gift all things to their children upon the earth. When a child desires to have something, do you turn around and give them something else when you know they need something so much? I, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, see your greater needs. At times I see not what it is that you think you desire, but I know what it is that you really need to advance in your spiritual treasures. So I will gift you that. So it is not always what you exactly ask for, but then be open to it and ask for the things to be given to you that will benefit you the most on your spiritual journey of love and of truth, so that you will find the greater treasures within you. It was so that Jesus taught this way always to the people, and He became very tired of their questions, and they were very curious beings they were, because they had never heard of these teachings ever before. And they felt lost and lonely, just like the lost little sheep without a shepherd. And Jesus was the shepherd, gathering up the sheep and taking them to safer pastures and bringing them to the great shepherd, which was my being, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great. And at times he wanted to be by himself, to meditate upon all that he had learned, to learn how to forgive more, for he also needed to learn to love more and learn to forgive more. This is why he was such a great teacher with forgiveness, because he learned to forgive all things. So many people upon your earth have the symbol of Jesus, that he was a perfect man, absolutely perfect, without any sin within him. Well, in the eyes of my being, nobody sins. For how can you sin? You are all part of my being. Yet on the earth plane, you still have to learn how to become of love. So you have many lessons to learn. But true sin you can never have. However, there is a need to become more forgiving, to step into the love and the light, because this is your learning school. How can you advance to the greatest school of learning when you cannot love in this school of learning you are in? For this is the very first stage of learning to hold such power. Jesus too was a master at forgiving, but why? Because he needed to learn to forgive himself. How can a teacher teach a student how to become of love and forgive when the teacher has never had to love or forgive himself? Yet so many people upon your plane say, Jesus this and Jesus that and Jesus this. But Jesus was a messenger of the great divine. Jesus was a man, and he never claimed to be anything more than a man. He stated to his friends, look, I am a man in suffering too. I need rest and peace. I need to forgive. For all things and the love need forgiving. I see the suffering of the people, and their suffering becomes a part of me. So I go to the Father and forgive it, so that I may have the greatest strength to bring back to the people, so that they too may forgive. He saw so much pain in those days, and he kept forgiving. Go and be like Jesus in that way. Go and learn the greater ways of forgiveness and understand that Jesus was a messenger. Just like my designated channel, Suzanna Maria Emmanuel. She will never claim to be perfect. She will never claim that she knows everything. She will constantly say to all the people who come to listen to divine, I stand here before you, but I'm just a channel, just because every time I, Suzanna Maria Emmanuel, bring through the great divine, I am humbled more and more because their teachings are so great. Those were the exact words that my designated channel, Jesus, used also to the people back then, 2,000 years ago. Learn to become humble in the service of divine. Learn to understand how great divine is and how divine is here to guide you upwards. Being humble means being open to learning with an open heart, always open to the service of divine for mankind. Learn this precious lesson, friends, and you will go a long way to finding the great treasures within you. Greetings, I am Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great.
Greetings.